When I said that I'm going from my company, that I'm leaving, he said to me that I never believed in this company, I was this, I was that, this is not for me maybe, and so on. His ego was very hurt, very deep down inside. And then when it came to going to a conference in the US, he removed me from the list saying, oh, it's an investment, you cannot go because you're leaving the company, and so on and so forth. And then, now when he is on his vacation and I'm on my leave and it's Saturday, he's calling me saying, Bernie, we need to finish this project by today, can you please help me? Imagine this. Can you please help me? And I helped, because Bernie only helps. I'm like that. Hi guys. All of these recent events somehow made me think about the management and what's important in the company when you're managing your people. Because I came across a big bunch of useless and very poor managers. The managers who don't give a fuck, the managers who do not care, the managers who think they are the most important, the most successful, and the most brilliant people in the world, and don't care about anyone else. And the pure word manager, it says that you're managing something. So you can manage assets, you can manage this, that. In most of the cases when you are in company, especially in IT company, then you are managing people. And when you're managing people, remember what I say, it's all about others. So you should listen to others. It's not about me, what I want, what I need, it's about others. So you have to put your ego aside and let others speak, so that they tell you what they want and so on. And that's what it's all about. And then you manage, then you take the best from each of your assets that you have, of your humans in your company, and put them and make it work. With all of their bad habits, ups and downs, and so on. There are skills, there's pros and cons. And because I was over 10 years in managing business, I'm gonna share with you what I think it's important. So when we are talking about management, so I have put something here, just not to forget. The first thing, the most important thing is what you need to do, what you need to know is how to manage people. You need to understand, unless you have some company that is run only by machines and you're the only one in that company, and that happens almost never, at least for now. In most of the cases you have people inside, and without the people there will not be any company. So you need to know how to manage people. When I say that, you need to know, first of all, the company exists because the owner needs to or wants to make money. So that is correct. That is the truth, the ground truth. But this cannot happen without some work put inside, some energy put inside. And in most of the cases, all of that work and energy is made by people, by employees who are inside. We are still not in this robotic age. Maybe we'll come to this, but what an employee needs you to provide him. First of all, of course, it's not all about the money. Of course, one of the things is the money. They have to have some kind of benefits, some regular steady paychecks, some additional benefits, bonuses, and so on, something that propels them, that moves them forward. But also they need a challenging tasks, challenging environment, meaning their intellect has to come into a situation where it's not only a repetitive business, something that drives them, motivates them, makes them think, so they are engaged, immersed in this job, and they must have a good surrounding, good atmosphere, people around. So if there is some let's say, bad people within a team that's confusing everybody, and he's like entering this entropy inside, this mess inside a good coherent team. You have to take him out and move him away, maybe to another team, maybe outside the company. Maybe you should fire him, because he enters a lot of entropy and it's a mess. So you have to know that they need a challenging atmosphere, they need a good company, good team, and they need benefits. So steady paychecks, and they have to know that they can rely on you as a business owner, that you can provide that to them. You have to manage people on all of different age levels, from the oldest one who are thinking about how to retire, and from the youngest one that they simply came yesterday maybe to the company, they don't know anything and they have to learn, and so you have to provide them with someone who will learn and teach them, onboard them, and then give them a possibility, a path. Someone of them, they need a path to be laid out for them, saying you need to do this in order to become an analyst, a senior, mid, or something like that, or mid-level or senior level. But someone who is, let's say, more propellant, they're thinking about what they want, they know their goals, they are doing it by their own, they know what they want to achieve, so they grab it. And those are the ones you as a company owner or a director or manager, you have to just put brackets around so that they will not fall over the edge, but let them run, because they are eager to run, they want to run. You don't have to push them, they're running by themselves. So you're just navigating, putting those brackets so and these safety nets around so that they will not fall. Then if you're growing as a company, you need to add a different managing layer, because of course you cannot manage and micromanage everybody all the time. And I have found and came across a very interesting managers who are micromanaging, nano managing everybody on every level. So what they are doing, what they are coding, what they are, how they are preparing presentations, where is the logo on the presentation, who gives a fuck? So if you are a manager on the topmost level, and you have a lot of people in your company, then you need a layer of other managers, executive directors, managers, and so on, who will report to you, but they will talk on more personal level, one-to-one, with all of their team members, with those who they are in charge of. And you have to know, those are people. People are not machines, they're not robots, and they need these one-to-one interactions. You need to get closer to understand what drives them, what motivates them, what does each of them do in their spare time. Do they have some kind of, God forbid, some kind of illness in the family, or they have some kind of disease or something like that? Is something bothering them? Are they struggling financially? Are they struggling in their personal, I don't know, life and so on? And you need to know those things, because then you can modify your approach to them basically by triggering and targeting the things that they like, they enjoy, and they care about. And then somehow use that as a leverage for them to do something in your job. Let's say somebody is I don't know, is a good web designer, but he's not currently a web designer in your company. Why not give them a possibility to give them a side task to do something, then to reward them? Instead of hiring additional people to be a web designer, why don't you give a possibility to the man, because he's, let's say, an amateur web designer, he does this in his spare time, he loves this, but he's a senior developer, backend developer in your company, why don't you give him the possibility to do some kind of web design? Because it's something that motivates them. It's something that it's nice. He thinks nice of that. He's happy when he does it. So why not? And okay, and then you add, let's say, a bonus to his paycheck. The bonus is less than one additional paycheck that you would pay if you had another person on that level, on that position of web designer. It's a win-win situation. He's satisfied, he's happy, he gets more money, and you pay less. So that's why you have to understand, you have to listen, you have to learn, and you have to have a reliable management layer who will do these one-to-one interactions with those people. And then trust those people. Trust those managing level that you have. Because in most of the cases, a good manager buys skills, he buys experience, because we do not know everything and we don't have all the experience in the world. That's why you pay someone to come to your company and to teach you something, somebody who has 20 years of experience in one area that you don't have as a manager. And it's not a problem that I as a manager don't have these skills. That's why I bought this skill. And that's why I have to listen and have to those guys who have those kind of experiences. If I have to surround myself with people who are much smarter than me, who have this experience, from who I can learn and who can push this company. Of course, it is up to me to put brackets, to put vision, strategy, but let them run. If I am the manager and I bought the skill and I bought another manager, director from another company to come to my company, and then I am, without any experience, telling him or her how he or she should do this kind of job, that I think that this is the best approach, we should do it like this or that, and I don't have an hour, a second of experience, and he has 20 years, that's just diminishing. That's just plain stupid. So that's why you buy those people and have them in your company to drive you, to push you forward. Then what you need to do as a good manager, you need to understand the business. Why? It's of course you have the people and you have the owner who is making money. That's all about what's all about in the company. But you need to understand the business, what you are doing, what you're producing, what kind of product, what kind of service, who is your competition. Why do you think that people need your product or service? Is it a complete fail, or you really think there is a market for that? And you have to test it, you have to realize, and you have to be on the edge of the innovation, of the technology of these days, and it has to be sexy, it has to be fast, it has to add value to the customer, and you need to understand the customer, their need, and you have to be agile in a way to modify your products and services all the time as the world and your customers are evolving and changing. You have to evolve and change your products constantly. If you don't do it, if you don't manage the vision, the strategy of your business, where the fuck are you going, then you will fall off the edge of the cliff and you will die. So you cannot go in a small nuts and bolts of every man, of every role in your company and do micromanagement. If you're doing that, then you're not putting your head up, and you're not, when you are flying the plane, you're not watching where you're going. It's like you're a pilot, then you come out from the cockpit and go into the fuselage, and then you're speaking with every passenger on the plane, saying what you're doing, why are you doing this, why are you doing that, and so on. But who is flying the fucking plane while you're doing that? So if you are a general manager, director, executive, you have to drive the plane. You have to know how many passengers you have. You have to know what kind of passengers. You have to know different kinds of things. Not only passengers, the wind, the fuel, the amount of luggage you have, the weight, the total weight. You have to know different things, but on the global overall level. That's why you have cabin crew who will speak to the passengers if it's needed. Then what you need to do as a good manager, you need to know how to manage money. If you're not good with money, with your personal expenses, your home expenses, if you cannot budget yourself and manage your own home budget, then you are not a good manager. And you shouldn't be a manager in a company ever, 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 because you do not understand. If you don't have money on the account, you cannot make a pizza party. You cannot make some kind of an event where you pay some singer or artist to come and to play for your customers or something like that. You cannot afford it. Maybe in the future, if your company grows and it will be, I don't know, a multi-billionaire, multi-billion company in terms of revenues, then maybe, and if you have profit, then maybe you will be able to do such events where you will spend this money to have fun and to amuse your customers together with your employees or something like that. But if you don't have money on your account, then you don't spend. Simple as that. You don't go into minus. Never, ever, ever, ever. If you don't have money and you have to pay the paychecks for your employees, then you need to sell or you need to invest. Find an investor. That is it. Not someone who will give you a credit. That's not a solution. It's prolonging the agony for 1 or 2 months. So that's not a solution. The real solution is to sell, to increase the sell, and to ask for investment. So some investor comes, you give them 15% of your company shares, he gives you 5, 10, 20 million dollars, and then you drive. You have a vision, you have a strategy, and then you know that you have the needed money to pay the paychecks and all of your operational expenses. So you need to manage people, know how to manage people. If you have a lot of people, then you need to know how to establish a management layer and run this management layer and believe and trust them. Then you need to understand the business, the product, and the customer on the global scale. And you, as a general manager, you are not the one who will talk to each of the customers. Sometimes you will, but not all the times. That's why you need this fourth thing after human resources, after business, after how to manage your money and your budget. Then you need to know how to sell, because the sales is the driving motor of your company. So you need to have good salesmen. They have a lot of connections, a lot of experience. They understand the domain, and the very big important thing is that salesmen, along with all the fun things that they do with the customers when they sell, when they take them to lunch or something like that, or to dinner, they need to know what they are selling. A salesman who doesn't understand, at least understand what the product or service is about, he shouldn't be working in your company. Just to drink and make fun with your customers, it's not enough. It's not enough. So you need to focus as a general manager on the salesmen, on the sales team, on the marketing, on the promotions, on everything, in order to spread out the word and a good word about your company, about your products, and so on. So you have to be relevant, you have to be visible in the markets so that people hear and see you, so that you're not hiding. If you're hiding, who will know that you're selling something? Obviously. So you need good salesmen. And that's what the management, the topmost management should think about. They should think about people in general, management, business and customers, to manage money in a good way. So to be, let's say, conservative, but not over conservative, but also not act as a drunken millionaire, spending money when you're not having any, while you're in debt or something like that. And then to establish a good sales. That's what topmost management should think about. And as I said, I have experience with managers who had these OCDs, big egos, who think that they know everything in the company and they need to know everything on the tiniest level, because they somehow think if they get those kind of information, their reactions and decisions would be better. But when you are doing everything for everybody in the company, then basically you're not doing anything. And while you're serving your guests in the plane and trying to, do the radio communication and, preparing the meals in the plane, then who is fucking driving the plane? That's one problem. So manager should be driving the plane. Next thing, if you're surrounded with clever, intelligent people, listen to them if they have something to say. Because if I'm driving the plane blindly and someone says, hey guys, we are on a straight course to hit that mountain, then you should fucking bring your head up and watch what's in front of you. Why not? So as a manager, you should be okay with having trust in other people, because it's mandatory. You have to have that. And surround yourself with smarter people than you, that bring all of the experience and skills with them. It's not about me telling them what's best for them and how should they do their work and how that experience and skill should be employed or used, because they know how to use those skills, because they have them, I don't have them. And that's also ego or something like that talking. If you're just having and buying and bringing people in the company to tell them what to do, then practically you are buying an audience, an obedient audience, that they're going to this head knobbler, that they're just nodding their heads, saying yes, 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 and they just simply operationalize the thing that you are saying. They put it into operation, nothing more. But what's the point? Then you can do it by yourself, obviously. Maybe you should do it by yourself because you're the greatest. So this kind of environment is very toxic, very toxic. So you should have this focus on the HR, on the people, because they are the backbone of the company, on the business, salesmen, on sales department, and how to manage money. Simple as that. Of course, if you work only for one company for entire life, then obviously you don't know any better and you don't know anything else. And that's one of the biggest problems. You should go and take, as a general manager, let's say, you have to have this very wide view of your surroundings. You should try to work on different positions in different domains, in different companies, that you get experience, so that you understand from different angles what it's all about, and then bring that experience into the company. If you're 30 years in the same company and you didn't see anything accept method A, then you will promote this method and you will push down on this method because you say it's the best way to do something, but basically what you're saying is the only thing that you understand, and you don't understand anything else. Because where would you learn something else? And that's why you bring and buy those people to come to your company to show you, to say that there is a method B, a method C, a method D to perform some task. And method D is maybe 5 times faster and 3 times cheaper, but you don't know it because you're stupid and you don't want to listen, obviously. But what I say, some people have a big ego, some of them don't. An ego, if you have an enormous ego, then you cannot be a manager because everything revolves about your interconnections and relationship with other human beings, and that's how the company functions. If you have a gigantic ego, then you cannot manage people because you're not managing. You're just simply trying to say that how great you are, how your decisions are great. It's like you're Trump, basically. And all of that you say is right, it's correct, and you're the best, you're the greatest, there's no one greater than you. Those are poor managers. Believe me. And at the end, I would say that not all people should be managers. Not because you are 20 or 30 years in one company, you should be a manager. If you're not for the job, you're not for the job. So guys, what do you think? Do you agree with me? If you want to be a manager, what you need to know, what you need to listen, who do you have to listen to, and what are the best decisions you should do as a manager? Think it always as flying a plane. You, as a general manager, you are the pilot. You are making the ultimate decisions, but you should take inputs from various sides, from the people on the ground, from the air traffic control, from your cabin crew, from your displays and controls that's in front of you. You should take all of those into consideration, because if you're not listening to anybody, then simply you can sit in the plane, push the throttle to the max and fly. And then you will see when and where you will end up. Guys, if you like this content, please share, like, subscribe, and bye bye.